going on, people? Today I'm going to be talking about the Mask of Zorro on 4K Ultra HD. I have never actually talked about this movie, so we're going to get straight into it. I forgot how much I love this movie. When I was growing up in the 90s, this movie came out in the late 90s, and I really loved it. And I owned it on VHS, I watched it quite a bit, and then I forgot about it. I don't even own this on DVD or Blu-ray. And so, yeah, coming back to it, this movie is a lot of fun. I actually really like Antonio Banderas in this movie. He has a lot of charisma, and he totally fits the mold of Zorro. In the matter of fact, just because of, when I grew up, I really can't picture anybody else as Zorro. To me, he is Zorro, and that's something that's really cool. And then you have performances by actors that I expected not to like, but I did. Catherine Zeta-Jones. I normally don't like her. This is probably my favorite performance of hers. She is a whole lot of fun here, and even though she's in a very stereotypical role, I feel like it works. And then you have Anthony Hopkins. Again, I expected him to phone it in, but here he definitely works as the older Zorro. All of these pieces come together to make a great backstory for this character. You have such great set pieces that in this film that have amazing action in them, and you have to credit the director for that. And for this movie, he has a knack for this. Martin Campbell, in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, he was great at really jump-starting and reviving characters that kind of fell by the wayside. With this and GoldenEye, and then again with Casino Royale. You know what? I don't like this as much as GoldenEye or Casino Royale, but this is still a good time, and I get those good time vibes. I feel like this is an 8 out of 10. Solid action movie. And when we're getting into the video quality here, this was actually given a 4K digital intermediate because this was actually given a brand new 4K scan of this. And you know what? It absolutely shows. This was originally shot on 35mm, but there is very little grain here to speak of. And that really adds to the clarity here. I feel like this movie looks very fresh and very new because of the amount of clarity that is in this presentation. It is lovely. And you have such a great depth of field here also. This doesn't seem very flat. This seems to have such amazing separation from the foreground to the background. Really solid material here. And then you can see such amazing detail as well, specifically in close-ups. I noticed it a lot in sweat dripping off of characters' faces over the hot sun. And then you have a lot of detail that goes into clothing. Clothing is a big part of this movie, and since it is a period piece, and you know what, it is 100% on full display here. You can see every stitch of fabric in that clothing. And along with that, when you have such great scenery that is in this movie, you can see individual specks of sand on the ground when you're on a beach, and just so much detail in backgrounds and in textures also. This is really damn good stuff. HDR here, this movie has a very natural looking color palette, but it does show up in key moments, and that will be, this movie has some big epic explosions like we want to see in our action movies, specifically from the 90s, and all of them are glorious in HD. Black levels here are a standout as well. That is something very important with this movie. You have blacks that very much are part of our characters' attire and clothing, and a decent amount of this takes place at night also, and all of it, you know, there is no crushing here. You can see deep, deep into these blacks, and you will definitely notice a difference from the previous Blu-ray. I am actually going to give this a 9 out of 10. I am not going to give it a 10 out of 10, but, I mean, as far as remasters from 90s action movies, this one's up there, people. And then when you're getting into the audio here, we are getting a Dolby Atmos mix that is absolutely 100% fun. Right off the top, you will notice straight from the beginning when Zorro cuts through that screen in what I really consider one of the most iconic shots of him just walking up to it and just going... you will notice that speaker separation is top notch, like you absolutely want it to be. And then along with that, because it sets itself on fire, you will notice the bass response with that fire also, and it just 100% just like gels together and it sounds amazing. When you're talking about surround work, it is in heavily used here, and you will notice that right off the top. As far as height speaker work goes, I got more of it than what I expected. You know, you have, like I said before, a lot of explosions and loud action, and that ripples through your height speakers the way that it should, and a lot of the score comes through the height speakers also. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. This is a fun mix. And so as far as the digital copy here goes, the same movies anywhere digital copy, which means that you can download this on iTunes and on Vudu along with other streaming services and get your copy right there. And as far as special features here are concerned, what you have on the 4K disc is a group of new deleted scenes along with theatrical trailers. That's always nice. And what comes on the older Blu-ray that is in this set is all of the older special feature material. So you have the audio commentary and featurettes there. There is a decent amount here with this new material. I do like the fact that they added that. And with all that being said, I am actually going to give this a 5 out of 10. So getting into my last looks at The Mask of Zorro. This movie is a whole lot of fun, and emphasis on fun. You know, if you're just looking to have a good time, just pop this movie in and you will have a good time with it. I do like the humor that is in this movie, and it will greatly define Antonio Banderas' action in the future, because there is a very good, to me, Jackie Chan-like humor that is pervasive throughout this movie. And you know what? It really adds to the fun here, and I really do like it. And I like this movie. It has performances that I liked that I didn't expect to like, and yeah, it was just a good time. And as my final score for The Mask of Zorro on 4K Ultra HD, it gets a 31 out of 40. So if you like this movie, you'll be very well served by this disc. It has an awesome, amazing video transfer and an equally good Dolby Atmos mix with some decent special features. So, coming up next on the channel, I finally get to talk about Tom Cruise with my Cruise-a-thon. Pay attention to that and make sure you stay tuned to the channel, because I am going to be having that coming to you really damn fast. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't need to say it because you all know it already. And I will see all of you next time.